Hi everyone. Welcome to the first episode of
Hello.
Flibble and Dribble. My name is Toby and I am Flibble.
You're right. I'm Kieran. I'm Dribble.
We are not really sure where this is going to go.
We are failures, that's what we are.
Yeah, so basically we decided to start a podcast because we talk so much rubbish between each other that we thought, why not record it and put it on the internet? And it might get some people listening to what absolute rubbish we talk about. And, there's no harm in it, is there? So, welcome. Today's agenda is, we mentioned England's cricket, the women's Ashes and the men's T20s, which we've both been terrible at. I should mention we're recording this on the 27th of January. It's a Monday, so England are 2-0 down.
And they've got a game tomorrow. Game tomorrow as well.
And there's a game tomorrow, and the women's Ashes is done and dusted. We need to win the Test match to avoid a complete whitewash, I think.
Which is very, very, very unlikely to happen.
Yes, I agree. So we'll talk about the England cricket first, and then we will move on to the January transfer window. And, well, personally, I'd like to talk about just how horrendous it is now compared to how it was when I was sort of 10, 9.
It's less interesting nowadays.
It's less interesting, and transfers in general are less interesting because you know what's going to happen 4 weeks before it actually does.
To be fair, with some chances you don't, like United at the moment.
Yeah, well, that's because United are completely unpredictable because they're just terrible and they've got terrible staff and terrible owners. Well, anyway, more on that later. We will also a brief word on the Taskmaster lineup because we're both big fans of Taskmaster and our opinions on the comedians in the chairs and how we think they're going to react.
That's the differing opinions there, mate.
Yes, my opinion differs from Kieran's somewhat largely, and we will discuss that later. And then we will round off with a brand new segment. So, and I'll explain what the last thing is at the end, well, towards the end, and we'll get into it. But for now, England cricket time. Yes, so first of all, let's just have a look at the England cricket stats recently from the T20s. We're not very good, are we, really?
No, we had one decent performance and the rain let us down. We won't mention the other three because it might have been easier for England to just save all the money and to stay at home. We had one good performance.
Well, the way I look at it is we've got, if you look at the side we put out in the first game, I mean, you can't really look at it and say anyone, it doesn't deserve to be there. Maybe Overton. Personally, I'm not a massive fan of Overton, but I can understand why he's in the side because most of the time he bowls half decent and goes for very little runs. I mean, he went for 10 in the first game, but we got chased down in 12 and a half overs, basically. Yeah. So it was a bit useless. But
they all have been.
Personally, I think appointing Brendan McCullum as white ball coach was the wrong way to go.
I don't really.
Yeah, because I think the stress of Test cricket in itself and the way he's revolutionised Test cricket, not just in England, but across the world and how everyone plays Test cricket now. I mean, I would like to say we started it because we basically did. But the way, I mean, if you looked at Sam Constath in his debut against India in Australia for them tests.
How he just riled them up.
He just
didn't
played.
Care.
I think batsmen specifically now go into Test matches and they play how, not necessarily they've been taught, but how they want to play. Whereas I think back in like almost 5 years ago, you could look at our openers like Burns and Sibley, and they both played T20 cricket, not to a specifically high standard like IPL and whatnot, but they both played T20 cricket for their respective counties, and they were decent cricketers at that level. I mean, Sibley would get 100 off 380 balls.
I don't see Rory Burns as an England player though. Yes, he played a lot of England thing.
I see him as one of the England openers that failed after Alistair Cook.
And then we got Zach. Has Zach Crawley been any better recently? He had the really good Ashes, and he played alright in West Indies and all the them lands. But give him to Australia this year at the end of the year. I don't think. I see average 20 odd.
I think Crawley and Duckett stand on like our best two openers. There's no one else that I could think could open.
Really? I think I have like 3 names I think they could open.
Go on then, list them off.
They're rogue shouts, I can't lie.
Okay.
Jacob Bethel.
You think Bethel could open?
I think Bethel could open for England in Test. Not in white ball.
Okay.
He could definitely do it in Test.
I can entertain that because he bats 3, doesn't he? Yeah, he batted 3 in the last Test in New Zealand. And he got 76 and 12.
Yeah, on the first game, he batted 6 after Livingston decided to miss a straight one.
Yeah, because Pope was still batting 3 at that time, which I'm not Pope's biggest fan, to be honest.
No,
I think
Pope is... I don't see the point in Pope being vice-captain.
Pope plays 15 Tests, averages about 12, and then when everyone's saying if he don't get runs this Test, he's out, he'll get a ton, and then he'll play his next 15 Tests and get absolutely nothing. That's just how he works. But he always gets that big innings that's enough to keep him in the side.
But then he's also vice-captain of England, which when he was
I thought that was a strange one as well.
When he was captain, you can literally see him on the field constantly talking to Jamie Smith on the sideline. Joe Root, who was stood next to him, asking him what to do. It's like, just give Joe Root vice-captaincy back at that point.
Yeah, I don't think Rooty wants it though, does he? I think
Rooty don't want it, but it then just comes down to he's like the high person in the team that just gets relied on.
I think they are almost as well scared of giving him the captaincy because of his form without it, since he dropped it.
Vice-captaincy is different, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
He went from youngster in the team, just got brought into the team. It felt like he was still really, really young, and then he became England captain. Cook was like, he's the only person to be captain. He's the only person to be captain. But back then, there were so many players who were still in the team who wouldn't even thought about, and they just went straight to like the youngest person who'd just been batting well.
Yeah, well, I think captaincy-wise, if you look at the Test squad we've got now, it's young and it's growing, but there's no one else I can see captain other than Stokes.
Oh no, Stokes is always going to be captain. There's no other person other than Stokes to be captain.
I know what you mean by vice, but having said that, if you look at the sides we put out in New Zealand Test, is there
give it Brooke?
Yeah, well, Brooke is the one that will be the next one, but I don't think Brooke will ever be. I don't think he'll ever. I don't think he'll ever be captain.
Vice captain.
I think you could probably give him the vice captain because he's the one in that England side that's never going to be out of it for the next 7 or 8 years. He's going to play all that time because he's that good of a player. But he's never going to drop off. I mean, I hope I don't jinx it, but I can't see him. I can see him scoring
right now.
I can see him scoring 10,000 Test runs very easily.
But him and Joe Root batting together, it's like it reminds me of Joe Root and Bell.
I just think Test cricket has just lost its popularity, and it's a shame because I would happily sit in front of a TV or sit at a ground for 5 days and watch Test cricket all day.
Sitting in front of the TV for 5 days just reminds me of my childhood.
It's just pure. It's just perfect to me.
Then go back to the white ball coach, giving it to Brendan McCullum. I see that as just a holding place, as I think they want Flintoff there.
I think they probably want Flintoff, but I don't think Flintoff will do it until Rocky is... Well, I think have to talk about Rocky Flintoff.
He got called only being picked into the team for his dad, and then hit a ton and shut everyone up.
He was in at 8 when he hit that ton for the Lions the other day. He came in at 8. And England were in a bad position. I don't know exactly what the scores were, but I don't think we were in a fantastic position. I mean, I didn't see any of his shots. I think I saw his shot to hit his turn.
I saw many shots, but he was playing like a person who's ready for first.
In the county champ, he hits the ball so hard.
He reminds me, and don't take this weirdly, he reminds me of Freddie Flitnoff.
Yeah, of course he does. Yeah, I think he's got that. I think he's got all the natural ability that he needs to be a fantastic cricketer. And I saw something on Twitter, and they were talking and saying Sangakkara played Test cricket at 16, and they said, well, he might not be that, but he's something special. And I think he'll probably be playing Test cricket. Maybe not this year, I don't think, because I can't see anyone in the side dropping off enough that he would command a place in the team. But I think if England are smart with it, they need to put him in sooner rather than later to get him accustomed to the game.
I think he needs 2 years in the Lions like every other player has ever had.
Yeah, he does need a while in the Lions, to be fair.
There you go, Rocky Flintoff, 108 off 127, 9 fours, 6 sixes, 166 minutes, strike rate of 85.
See, an 85 strike rate in Test cricket is normal for that England side. That's pretty normal for that England side. But if you think it's unbelievable, 85 compared to 5-10 years ago, people weren't getting over what people were getting about 50, if that. And the way Test cricket's come forward is fantastic, and the way it just makes it more entertaining. And there's still not enough of it. I think having watched England's white ball games recently, I just think there's not enough there for us to compete in. Well, the Champions Trophy's coming up, and I can't see us being anywhere near that. The Women's Ashes.
Oh, we don't talk about that. No, we can't talk about that.
Have you kept up with it? Really?
I've kept up with it. I've watched every game. 8 o'clock in the morning. Get me up at 8 o'clock to watch it as well.
I've watched a lot of highlights, and I mean, I just feel there's no competition every year between England women and the Australian women, and I don't know why it is, because we tend to win a lot against all of the other female nations, and then when we come to Australia, we literally cannot beat them. We cannot. And
but is that saying that Australia women are just so much better than?
It might be, but I think it also. It's obviously psychological for England because they play against Australia a lot. But the second ODI was the worst one because we bowled them out for 180. We looked in a good position, and then we got bowled out for 159. And Amy James was stranded on 47 off of 103, and you just think, well, she's done a pretty good innings there, and her size let her down. But I just think we're not going anywhere, and I can't see us winning this Test match. I mean, we got bowled out for 90 in the last T20.
There's absolutely no chance of winning.
They've retrained it 5 consecutive times.
I don't remember ever England winning against Australia. I'm not sure that's just because I didn't watch it.
I don't remember watching England win a series. Well, 2013-14 was the last time England won the series.
But there was all this chat before all the games going, Lauren Bell, Eccleston, Shiverbrun, Knight. They're always called the best 4 in the world. They've gone to Australia and proved they're not.
Okay, I think
that's enough about cricket.
Just about covered cricket. So go make a brew. Pause the podcast and come back, and we will talk to you about the January transfer window. Welcome back to Flibble and Dribble. We just had a track about cricket. So now we're going to move on to
another sport.
Would you regard it as your second favourite sport or your favourite sport?
Favourite sport, obviously. It's definitely my favourite sport.
I think it's probably my favourite sport. But if you ask me whether I want to be a footballer or a cricketer, I would be a cricketer. If you ask me if I could ever watch one or the other, I'd only watch football.
No, darts. No, I can't. Football.
Darts.
No, it's my favourite sport, but I hate it.
Oh, yeah. Well, everyone hates their favourite sport. That's sort of the criteria of it being your favourite sport. So I want to start off this little January transfer window segment with some stats about last year's January transfer window and the average of all time January transfer window. So this is an article by Give Me Sport. So in 2024, there were 92 exits in the January transfer window, and only 14 of them were permanent, which is a disgrace.
Yeah.
An average is usually there's 147 exits and 39 of them are permanent. And there's usually, and last year in the 2024 transfer window, there was 78 loan exits and there's usually 108. So, firstly and mainly, why?
Many teams don't like signing people at all nowadays, do they? It's just could even look at the summer one just gone. It was boring.
Do you think? Because I'm just trying to think. So take City for example. They've just signed Mamouche. Now, City was struggling, obviously, but I don't think whether they've signed Mamouche, they signed 2 centre backs. I think that's good business because they brought in defenders when they've realised their defence is not very good. They've had a few injuries and they've been shipping goals. And then they brought in 2 defenders and they brought in an attacker because Haaland's not been quite on form.
Yeah,
I mean, second top goal scorer in the league.
Yeah, but it's contract.
Haaland did that huge contract, which I'm sure we'll talk about at some point.
No, we can't talk about contract because I feel like I will never see his weekly wage ever. So
no one will, and I still can't understand why he did that contract. But
what I know why he did it.
He did it for the money.
I don't know why they did it. He's been awful.
Yeah. Well, he's not awful. That's the thing. He's going to guarantee 25 goals a season, isn't he?
I'm sorry. I'm a
minimum.
I'm a United fan.
But yes, I get that.
He's been a very good player.
But
but Man City have just. Form dropped.
If you look at it like this, the stats I just gave you were Premier League, I think only. I believe. I think that's the case. So last year, the top signing was Dragusin to Tottenham. And that was 26 million.
Yeah.
And then it was, but one of the ones that stands out here is Morgan Rogers to Villa, who's been fantastic for Villa. And he only cost 8 million. And he's probably maybe 30 million now. I don't know how old he is. But I don't know. I think clubs just, they don't want to upset, it almost seems like they don't want to upset their camps.
Think about Liverpool in summer. They signed one player.
Yeah, and everyone went, my God, they're going to be terrible. Like, why have they not signed anyone? The only player they signed was Mamadashvili, and he was for next year, and he was a keeper.
Chiesa.
Oh, and Chiesa, yeah, I forgot about Chiesa.
Who then just played one
Which
game.
you could understand because he was so cheap. Chiesa was so cheap that they
And he had the Euros of his lifetime.
Yeah, and he had a great Euros. He was only 30 million or something like that. And he was still only, I think he was only 26. He might only be 26.
And he did get injured straight away though, which is very unfortunate. But I'm not saying anything good about him.
But yeah, I don't know what it is about the January transfer window. And
look at United though, because they've got Rashford, Garnacho, Onana, all like.
What did they sign? They didn't sign them in January though.
No, but they're all currently rumored to leave now.
But they won't sell them. Because clubs don't... I think it is actually now less that managers don't want to buy players in January. I think it's clubs don't want to sell people in January. Because they know they can hold off on them until the summer. And you get twice as many offers in the summer as you will in January.
But we are talking about clubs not wanting to sign people, but then look at Sheffield United in the Championship. They've signed...
Well, this is the thing. I think Premier League clubs are so different to Championship, League One, League Two clubs, and lower league English.
That's just the Prem and all the
Premier League. The Premier League clubs don't want to sign people in January, and I can't figure out why. So I think January transfer window we've about covered.
Carry on with the transfer window. I've got one question for you.
Oh, go on.
What do you think of the Chesterfield transfer window at the moment with your Jack Sparks, your Daniel, what's his name, Daniel Duffy? Dylan Duffy, you've just signed.
We signed Dylan Duffy today. I'm glad we're doing a Chesterfield segment. Yeah, I'm quite happy with it, to be fair. I mean, I watched them at the weekend. We drew 1-1 with Port Vale, and they had a man sent off. So
that's Port Vale in it, isn't it?
Yeah, we should have done a bit better than we did, to be fair. But Jack Sparks, fantastic. He was great. Early on. I just think part of the things I think as a Chesterfield fan, and specifically because we've had 2 players on loan from Fulham this year, one from Everton, another from Newcastle. So we're getting quite high-profile teams, loan players.
And I got Peterborough.
Peterborough, I mean, he's the best of the lot at the moment. I mean, the 2 from Fulham, we had Devon Tanton, who we sent back because he's got a knee injury and he's better to be treated at Fulham than it is at Chesterfield. And the other was Javier Araujo, who was fantastic, and then he got a knee injury. We've got 14 injuries, by the way. So
14?
We've got 14 injuries.
Will Grigg.
Including Will Grigg, RIP.
What a baller.
But the one that stands out for me as one of our loan players was Jensen Metcalf, who came from Everton, and he's a defensive midfielder. And you can tell he's been brought up through the youth systems in the way that if anyone just gives him a little nudge, shows a bit of excessive strength, he's out. He cannot deal with it. The point I'm making is because of the way the Premier League teams play now, where your centre-backs and your midfielders have so long on the ball because people are... The lower side's like low block, so there's no pressure. So your defensive midfielder has loads of time on the ball. If you look at Liverpool, Van Dijk has stacks of time on the ball. Konate has stacks of time on the ball because they're just sat back and they're just inviting the pressure. I think in the lower league football, in the lower age of the Premier League football, that's what happens. I think there's no pressure put on because I think they're scared to be intense because they don't want to get injured. Because injuries, I think, are now in Premier Leagues are such a height that if a player gets injured in the first team, they're going to go straight into the bench from the under-21s or the under-18s because there's so many injuries in the Premier League. I mean, you look at Tottenham.
Look at United last year.
Bless their little souls. I mean,
United last year
might be one of the worst managers in the world at the moment, but I'm sure that's a topic for another day.
Did you see the weekend where someone went, "You're going to relegate us," and he tried to...
Oh, yeah, and he proper bit back, didn't he? He came back out the tunnel. This is the other thing, I think. He seems to take everything so personally.
Yeah, but you would though when you're doing badly. You would though when you're doing badly.
Well, the thing is, he puts the blame on himself all the time, which I think it is his fault because I think Tottenham, unlike a lot of the top 6 teams who've sacked their managers over the last 5 years or so, I think Tottenham have world-class players in their side. I think Son is world-class. I think Kulusevski is world-class. I think Maddison at times is world-class. But
Kane did the right thing of leaving. I'm not gonna lie.
Kane, I love Harry Kane, and I'd have loved him to stay in the Premier League. But you can see why he left to win trophies, and he's not really done that, has he?
That didn't
not
really,
yet.
Didn't
But
go well,
at the
did
end
it?
of this year, he probably will have won a trophy.
Yeah,
but if you win the Bundesliga
for.
trophy and you're at Bayern, then it doesn't really count anyway.
Yes, after last year, yes.
We can put that to our viewers. Does it count that Kane? If Kane wins a trophy, maybe. Sorry, listeners. That's fair.
I was going to say, actually,
does it
I'm
count
going to get listened
if Kane wins a trophy at Bayern? Does it count as a trophy, or are we just bidding it off? Thank you for keeping us entertained about football. We will now move on.
No, wait, I don't
think we need to move on.
I've got a topic for you. I've got a topic for you that you love.
Oh, go on. Okay.
I've got 2 questions.
Okay.
Have you looked at darts recently?
I have looked at the darts. I did watch the Toto darts. Is it Toto?
The Dutch
Masters. I did watch.
Have you looked at the darts match recently of a man, Dominic Taylor, being banned 1 month ban? He's 26. He's an Englishman.
I saw this
for a banned substance at the Player Championship last year.
I did see something about this. I didn't.
What is he taking? What is he taking as a banned substance?
So, I don't actually know. But there's obviously some regulations because it's probably something like beta blockers because beta blockers slow down your heart rate, which would make you more focused on your dart, I guess. Maybe. But it's interesting you brought this up because the guy who got banned recently from the PDC, the young guy,
Dominic Taylor,
he got banned for about 8 years.
Oh, no.
He got banned for 8 years.
Yeah.
I forgot what his name was.
Same.
But I saw the footage of the game in question he was max fixing. And if you've got like 2 or 3 minutes, put it on and just watch the whole leg. He's obviously playing 501 and he's just, I think he's beating his opponent overall in leg play. And he gets to a finish and his opponent's on like 240. So, but he's on like double 16. So he's got to miss all these darts. And then his opponent starts having an absolute nightmare. He's just not on a finish for like the next 9 darts. So
I've just Googled his name. His name is Leighton Bennett for all the listeners out there if you want to Google him.
Leighton Bennett. It's a great watch because you can just tell. Like, out of all the sports, darts is probably the hardest to match fix.
The only person that looks like they are taking drugs and are not is Luke Littler. He's 18. He's 18 and I love the guy. I'm not going to lie. Gaff and Taff all the way.
I'm happy.
I'm happy he won. Recently, he has been doing a lot, being absolutely dominated by Stephen Bunting.
Can we talk about Littler in the next episode?
That's the next episode. Littler versus Bunting is a whole episode.
We'll do a dart segment on the next episode.
Littler Bunting is a whole episode, that is.
But, so to answer your question...
How do you fail a drug test?
It's an interesting one, isn't it? And I hope they release some sort of...
I just want to know what... I don't even care. If ban him for the rest of your life, just tell us what you took.
No, I don't. It's obviously not... I think more than anything, it'll be a substance that he is taking at prescription and he hasn't informed the PDC that he's taking it and it was probably banned.
Imagine it's just like paracetamol.
Yeah, if it's just like... I got some ibuprofen gel for my knee. No.
No, just the lights are giving the headache so much. I just had to take some paracetamol.
I couldn't do it.
I've got one more question about sport, and then we can get off sport for all the listeners.
Go on. Thank you very much. I'll take the question.
Do you think F1 will be more exciting with Lewis Hamilton at Ferrari? And part two, do you think he'll do good there?
I can't see a scenario in which Lewis Hamilton drives in the Ferrari and the fans do not love him. Like, they're obviously going to love him. Everyone... I don't know why anyone is unhappy that he's gone to Ferrari, because I've seen...
No one is.
Well, I saw some people on Twitter moaning.
People were moaning because of... Like, I can't remember what it was, but some really weird stuff. But, like, he was there for 3 days doing his press stuff. He was always taking pictures with the crowd or just going waving and just showing that he was always there for them. Like, going, yeah. And then he's also just brought back his old trainer, which every single Ferrari fan I've ever spoken to in the past week have been, we've got the old Lewis Hamilton back. And he's going to... People have been calling it, it's the Hamilton, Norris, Verstappen year.
Well, I think if you look at last year, it was always Verstappen's to lose, and then he didn't lose it because the McLarens probably didn't reach
Norris
their full
never
potential in the end.
Norris was never catching last year.
Yeah, but I don't think I think he probably could.
He could have, mathematically. But he would. He would
mathematically, and he probably... I mean, that McLaren car was so far ahead of everyone else.
Yeah, but it's just... I think it's the first year that Norris has been, like, top. And the only other person
I think it is
that good at the top is Lewis Hamilton in the first year. Even looking at Max Verstappen, the first year he was top, he was not on it that good. I feel like this year is going to be Norris's. This year is going to be the year that it's going to be interesting.
I think he would be happy to finish in the top 6 in the championship.
I think top 4. I'm calling top 4.
I can't see him finishing above Leclerc in that Ferrari.
I can, unfortunately.
Overall, I can't.
Because he is a number 1 driver, he should, not saying they will, he should get number 1 driver at Ferrari.
Why?
Because it's like an unwritten rule that any person who's moved teams as a world champion, you've seen it with Seb when he went to Aston Martin. It wasn't Lance Stroll, yeah. But because he's a champion, they automatically get first place.
Yeah, but that goes out the window when you've got someone of Charles Leclerc's calibre.
But also, it's going to be very interesting. It's the last year of only 20 teams. Because next year...
Yeah, that is true.
We've got 22 cars on the field.
That is exciting. And also...
And my Pookie Bear, Logan Sargent's coming back.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing. It's pretty terrifying, the fact that every year in F1, there's 20 drivers on the grid. And at least 3 of them could cause fatal accidents at any time.
Whoa. What are you saying about Lance Stroll?
Well, if you look at the start of this
year... What are you saying about Lance Stroll?
Logan Sargent, I'm not even sure if his wheel was on the right way half the time. Lance Stroll couldn't see because his dad's money was in his eyes. And and George Russell at times didn't know his arse from his elbow. So...
No, you're forgetting about the world's best driver. And if anyone doesn't know who I'm on about, I'm actually going to ask you a question. Do you know who I'm about if I say Williams legend?
Is it... Well, it's either Nicholas Latifi. Is it Nicholas Latifi?
Yes.
Yes.
I feel this is going to be a really rogue show, and this is where I get hated by everyone forever. Nicholas Latifi was worse than Mazepin.
I think we should ponder on that, and I think we should do a head-to-head next episode.
I think we now go for one last break and we move on to your topic.
My little segment. Welcome back. We are now going to have a little dive into something that is not about sport. We've talked a lot about sport.
Only nearly an hour of sport, yeah?
Literally nearly an hour of sport.
Taskmaster.
And it's Taskmaster time. Now...
Me and you had a massive debate about this the other day.
We did have a massive debate about this the other day, and we didn't ever really finish it. I'll go through the Taskmaster lineup.
Davey Martin.
So, I need to do my research on this woman, because I actually don't know who she is.
Is it bad that when I first heard that name, I thought it was Steve Martin, the actor, from, Father of the Bride?
Yes, probably. So, honestly, I literally cannot comment on this lady because I have no idea who she is. Which I like, because in Taskmaster I like people who I don't know, because then I don't really know what they're going to do. Like the last season. So Stephen Martin I can't really comment on, to be honest.
I'm going to butcher this name. I'm going to apologise already. Fatia El Ghori.
So, another one I don't really know a lot about.
I've heard about her. She's funny.
Yeah, I've heard about her, and I watched a little bit of her stand-up. And
I have watched things on her, and honestly, she's quite funny.
Okay,
I'll
take your word for it.
You know, there's always that one person who always jokes every time. I feel like this year she's going to be that one person who make a joke about every single task. She's not she's not going to take it seriously.
Well, that's the best way to be. Somewhere out to genuinely win it, but somewhere out to just be funny completely, and then somewhere out to do both. So,
yeah, we don't talk about where Ramesh really tried to win it and then still came last every year. He put his wedding. I feel like
he was a bit of a highlight. Ramesh.
The Ramesh year, I think, just proved that he didn't want to be in a relationship anymore, because he always put his wedding stuff up to.
He did actually destroy his marriage on Taskmaster.
Yeah,
and I'm all here for it.
We'll go for the next person. I think it's a really good shout and not someone I expected. It's Rosie Ramsey.
Yeah, so
Chris Ramsey's wife.
Another one. Chris Ramsey's wife. I love Chris Ramsey, and I have listened to a little bit of their podcast, and I enjoyed that too. Another one where, the best thing on Taskmaster, the best people on Taskmaster are the guests that, when they walk into the whatever room they're in, you have absolutely no idea what they're going to do. And I think she's one of them. I think she could go completely psycho one week and then just be completely normal another week. So I'm actually quite excited to see.
She does have a cheat code as well, seeing as her husband has been on the show.
Yeah, there you go. Which will be a bit of a thing for her, because she'll want to do better than him.
With the next two, I don't know which way to do it around. Do I do it with my favourite one on the show, or do I do it with the other geezer? These are my two favourite. The next two.
Yeah, and these are the two everyone is most excited for.
Yeah, but you didn't like one of them. You were like, why is he on? Maybe we'll save him to last. We'll go for Matthew Baton, aka Dino.
So, yeah, Dino.
Or should we call him the geezer from Horrible History who played Dick Turpin?
The geezer from Horrible Histories.
Or the geezer from Yonderland. The geezer from Ghosts.
Everything he does, he is fantastic in. He's not stand up, is he though? So
oh my god, he's second cousin to Daisy May Cooper.
Is he? That's probably how he got on the show.
No, Matthew Baton can get on the show himself.
I don't know about him, to be honest.
What?
Another one that I don't know how he's going to react to everything.
No, I've seen.
I think he'll be entertaining, and I think he'll be great. I think his humour will be really dry.
Have you seen the trailer?
No, I didn't, and I'll probably stay away from it because
I saw it, and he's the one person I saw that has an outfit. I can't remember the other four, but he's one of the people that has an outfit for the show.
That's always good when they have an outfit for the show, because it makes them look good.
But honestly, I think I want him to win.
Yeah, early days. I think him or
the next guy.
Yeah, these are the two that. So the next guy, I have pretty strong opinions about.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm just gonna call him Jason M. If I cannot say the second name.
Pietro?
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 Lucas.
Is it Pietro?
No, it's Jason Lucas.
Yeah, but is that his name in Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
No, his name in...
Pietro.
No. What did you call him?
Pietro? Pimento, that's it.
Pimento.
I have not
seen... I was crying.
I have not seen Brooklyn Nine-Nine in a long time, as is just given there.
I'm actually crying, sorry.
One I am disappointed about.
I'm not.
I just think he'll be so bad.
No, what?
Because...
He's literally a comedian. He's literally an American comedian.
It just sounds like... But he's one of the American comedians that doesn't work in the UK. And by doesn't work, I don't mean he doesn't do his job in the UK. I mean that the UK do not understand the American humour.
Free word for you. Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Okay, Brooklyn Nine-Nine is such a success in
England,
the UK.
Not say America.
Just because it's funny, like The Offices or something like that. And he didn't write it. He just starred in it, and his character was funny in it. But like you say, like I said this the other day as well, he's not going to be playing Pimento in Taskmaster.
He's going to be his funny self, and he's a funny.
He's going to be himself, and I just don't think it'll work. He got
the role.
And when we do the next episode of this, and maybe the first episode might be out. I don't know when the first episode is coming out.
The first episode out is
anyway. That's for another day.
2025.
At some point in 2025.
We're in 2025 now.
I don't know how he's going to be.
He's going to be good.
But he is the one that I think if any of them are going to be bad, it'll be him.
I'm just looking forward to the Alex Horn, Greg Davis partnership. Man.
They're just fantastic, both of them. And Alex Horn, what a bloke. He writes the whole show. He writes the whole show and then didn't give himself the lead part. Phenomenal. It's phenomenal. It
the
really
fact
is.
Do you know one reason why I think they brought in Jason Mantzoukas?
Why? Because
Taskmaster.
Greg Davis.
What?
Do you think you might test Greg Davis?
No. Taskmaster has just recently got a massive American audience.
Why is that? Because didn't they do a Taskmaster US?
They did, with our Bridgie Watts.
It didn't take off. It didn't really take off.
It didn't take off, but it made people in America start watching the English version.
The UK version.
And
the UK version is the best.
The UK version in America became like a thing that everyone watches over there. Because I've got friends.
As is basically everything about the UK in terms of TV shows is in like comedy reality TV shows. The UK do it the best.
Yeah, have you ever seen
all the shows that the US try and replicate from us?
Yeah, the US In-Betweeners, the US
In-Betweeners was horrendous. Even the US Office is just not as good as the UK one.
Have you ever watched the US?
And I love the US Office.
No, the US Office is amazing.
It's great, but
have you ever watched the US Gavin and Stacey?
No, and
honestly, please.
I think I would rather keep it that way.
No, honestly, watch some on YouTube tonight.
I don't think I want to do that.
I feel like that's Taskmaster over.
Tonight, I'm going to go to bed after we've finished this. Jeez, we've been at it for an hour.
Yeah, we've still got
We've still got my segment to go, which we're going to start. This is a little segment that we will do for each new guest that comes on. We will do this segment. So I don't think it'll be every episode because I don't think we'll have a new guest every episode. We plan to get a few guests.
Are we doing the start off on for me and you right now? Do one now.
So I'm going to ask you yours today, and then you ask me mine next week. Next episode.
You can say next week, but we're both busy.
So this is called Toby's Trash Bin. So I got this idea. Well, someone gave me this idea by the name of Frank Skinner, and he hosts a beautiful show called Room 101, and this is very, very similar to Room 101. So Toby's Trash Bin is basically what would you put in Room 101. So what would you put in Toby's Trash Bin? So we're asking any guest. So today is the lovely KP. KP, I would like you to name a footballer you would like to put in Toby's Trash Bin. This footballer would go in the trash bin, never to return, so you can erase them from history, and that can be a past or present footballer. But I need valid justification, and I will discuss this with you.
There's so many.
There is so many.
Can I give some honourable mentions, what I think?
Yeah, we can go with that.
The first person that came to my head was Carlos Tevez. Being a United fan, obviously.
Okay, I can appreciate
But
that.
then, thinking about all the good things he did for United when he was there,
That's true.
I can't put him in.
Surely there is one that just jumps out, like a Man City player or a Liverpool player.
There's a lot of Man City players, but I don't think I generally think the player I'm going to put in is not a Man City.
Hold on, the first member to be put in Toby's trash bin is, drumroll please,
Whoa, Mario Balotelli.
Mario Balotelli.
Oh wait,
he
did play for City. He did play for City.
He did play for City. He got his only assist to Aguero when he scored the goal in to win the Premier League.
Oh,
that is valid reason enough to put him in there.
Oh, it was going to be Aguero.
So why did you go Balotelli over Aguero?
Because I can say 3 words about him that can just guarantee it away. Why always me?
I knew you were going to go with that. So that is a valid... But we have to talk about Balotelli and just...
We can't.
What an absolute nutcase.
Well,
yeah, I just think a player with so much ability, yet he just didn't care. He set fireworks off in his bathroom.
The way he treated Roberto Mancini.
Yeah, he wasn't great, was he? He was obviously a handful because he had so many clubs, and there was no doubting he had so much natural ability. I just think he didn't work at all, and he just took the lifestyle as a footballer's lifestyle rather than someone who actually wanted to work hard and win trophies. And
Exactly.
So that is a great shout. And
are we still doing a cricket trash bin?
So the next one is a cricket player to go in the trash bin. Now, I think basically by...
Might have wrote. I know mine already.
To do what, 10 episodes of this first season?
Yeah. With at least one guest.
This trash bin will be full of Australians, and I'm pretty happy.
I'm not putting an Australian in there.
You're not putting an Australian in it?
No.
Wow, that is surprising. Kieran, who is in your trash bin for the cricketers?
Let's just say we went to uni. We played cricket at uni, yeah.
We did.
So everyone at uni is going to hate me right now, and you're going to find out in 2 seconds. Go on. The main man, Virat Kohli.
Virat, that is a great shout.
Just recently,
the
way he treated poor Sam Contis, the way he acted that whole Test season, just the way he treated that whole Test season, and they got absolutely demolished, and he still took it. So, he was hurt by everything that little 19-year-old was doing. He was getting controlled by a little 19-year-old.
I think he is possibly, he's not captain now, but he's possibly one of the worst advocates for a captain in Test cricket. From when England played India in the 2018 Tests, he was so bad in that. He was quality. I don't think anyone is ever doubting how good of a cricketer he is in all formats of the game. But as a role model for a captain or as a cricketer in general for children and
for all the Australians that
aspiring cricketers
all the young Australians that watch that Test. I know you're not listening to this podcast, but I'm going to say it. Just don't listen. Don't watch.
Don't be like
the only thing you do with Virat Kohli, bat like him. He's got
bat like him. Don't do anything else like him.
Act like Sam Contis, actually. Bat like Sam Contis. Act like Sam Contis.
He reminds me of the guy that is on everyone's adult cricket team. The guy that opens the bowling and thinks he bowls absolutely rapid, and then he gets whacked about the park, and then he has a moan, and he flips his lid, and he F's and blinds and whatever, and he just gets mardy.
Wait, we're also doing one more of...
I think he has a deserved place in the trash bin.
Are we doing one more of just general person you put in the trash bin?
Well, I don't think people. I think a general...
What, a general thing?
Just a general day-to-day thing that either people do or an object that you use, or just something that you just think, I need to be clean now. I need to be clean. When people do this, it really grinds my gears.
I need to be clean.
You don't need to be clean.
Oh, obviously, this has a lot to do with me. But people who are rude and just treat people that work in shops or restaurants as people who aren't actually humans, clicking.
Yeah, and So I've not ever worked in retail like you have, but
Yeah, like the other day, like 2 weeks ago, obviously coming on to holiday, but 2 weeks ago, I had a customer, and he told his kid, "Oh, you need to do better in school than this person here because you're only working here." And I was like, "Mate, I've literally gone to uni. Well, I've not done well at uni."
and I've just served you your whatever, and if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't be eating tonight.
It's not even that. It's just like
you could have just turned around and said that to him.
I got this job.
I'd rather be
purely
work at Tesco than
some
have
money.
an ugly child like that.
To be fair, the kid was absolutely clapped. I think he had three eyes. I think he had 3 eyes and 3 ears.
That's the end of the podcast. We've been cancelled before we've even started. Kieran has just decided to call a child clapped and said he's got 3 eyes. But,
sorry, sorry, Daniel. I'll say sorry, Daniel.
I just think retail jobs are. I've never done one, but I've heard how difficult they are, and I'm quite lucky with my job.
You work for your dad.
Yeah, which is why I'm quite.
I work for my mum, but
so but oh my god, that was a long time. That will be it for the first episode of the podcast. Yeah, thank you for listening. This is it will be out on Spotify
and YouTube.
Amazon. I don't think it'll be put out on YouTube.
It will be. I'll be doing the YouTube bit.
Okay.
I have a person.
So please feel free to comment.
Subscribe, like, follow.
Follow.
Oh, and wait 2 seconds. If you have a question, please email in.
Email to us, and the email is flibbleanddribble@gmail.com.
All one word.
All one word, no capitals. flibbleanddribble@gmail.com. Please
be
let
nice.
us know what you think.
Please
of
be
the
nice
podcast as well. No hate mail because we'll get really, really sad. Yeah, thank you very much for listening.
Oh, and hi everyone at Kiel Uni. Listening to this, absolutely taking the pee out of us.
Hi everyone everywhere, and I guess we will see or hear from you all on the next episode of Flibble and Dribble. So it's goodbye from me, Flibble,
and me, Dribble.
Goodbye, everyone.